Hey guys, I'm Eric and I'm sitting here with Marty Langford and Joseph Culp from Fantastic Four and Doomed, the Fantastic Four documentary.
I can do that.
Alright guys, so we just watched Doomed, the Fantastic Four documentary. Right now we're actually in a speakeasy here at the Liberty Hall in Lawrence, Kansas.
That's right.
This is so neat to be in.
It's a terrific space.
I want to steal it, take it all the way back home for myself and turn it in my studio, but
So this was Prohibition.
this is Prohibition era stuff here.
We're in Prohibition era stuff.
It is awesome stuff here.
Not unlike the Fantastic Four movie,
Right, buried underground.
which was buried underground and was in Prohibition for years.
So we all...
Until Doomed.
Yeah, we're going to get this out of the way real quick.
Sure.
Doomed touches on this a lot, that the Fantastic Four film was really nothing more than Fox's attempt to maintain legal ownership of the rights to do film, for the most part.
Kind of, except replace Fox with Constantine Films.
Oh, yes.
So yeah, there's three main entities, four if you include Corman, who was just the production arm. That he just supplied services, studio, and the production end of it. Constantine Films is the actual, copyright holder, and they had the option to make Fantastic Four films. And as of December 31st, midnight in 1992, that option was going to run out. So if they didn't go into production on a Fantastic Four movie by then, they would lose the rights. Marvel would get them back, and they would be out of, literally hundreds of millions of dollars because
As a possible franchise,
Right.
which they wanted to. They were vying still at that even early stage about trying to get a big budget film made, probably with Fox.
Right, with Fox, and they just couldn't make it happen. They were trying to do it. They were working with Chris Columbus and 20th Century Fox, but they weren't going to make it in time. They were never, ever in a million years going to start rolling cameras by midnight on December 31st, 92. So it's around August, and they say, how can we do this? How can we possibly get a version of the Fantastic Four made? And the answer was, well, let's go to the guy who makes movies fast and cheap and is notorious for being able to kind of pull them both off. And that was Roger Corman.
And I in the documentary, there was a few actors that mentioned how sad they were regarding the fact that this was going to be a breakout piece for them, right? And because, people who are familiar with the name Roger Corman, let's see here, there was only this one director did a silly little movie called Titanic, I think, that he kind of did some stuff with. So, I mean,
A guy named
everybody's
Ron Howard for Roger Corman.
Guy named, Martin Scorsese with Boxcar Bertha, I think.
There you go.
Yeah.
There, Jonathan Demme, Robert Zemeckis, Joe Dante.
So all these
started
names.
with Roger.
Yeah.
And not just in the direct behind the camera, you're like, a lot of people just, their careers just went straight up from there. So I can see a little sadness, I wouldn't call it angst or aggression or anything like that. Nothing that extreme. Just a little being, that.
Well, it's a strange story.
Yeah,
it doesn't.
there is.
I really don't know another example that's quite the same as the phenomenon of the Fantastic Four.
Weird
That the movie actually got made. It wasn't. They didn't just do some screen tests and retain rights that way. We made an entire movie.
Yeah.
And Corman was ready to release it in theaters, and then they pulled it.
Well,
And
the
so that's
kicker-
very unusual.
It's very unusual. You don't hear about it very often. And the kicker for anybody who hasn't seen this version of Fantastic Four, the special effects were actually done. And I mean, yes, by today's standard, you're going to sit there and laugh a little bit because they are a little hokey, but they're a product of the time and the effects available. But they were there. We're not looking at like
An unfinished film or something.
Right.
Like
we all go
something
look
that
at the
didn't work.
we go look at the special edition scenes or the deleted scenes for some films, and they show like the storyboard pieces to fill in the gap.
Right,
in the
there's
special
a green
effects.
screen haven't been comped in yet. Yeah.
Fully done. So, like you said, this was ready for release, and then Fox and Constantine just nope. We got to keep the rights.
Yeah, that's what happened. So that's just when you talk about did people feel bad about it? I mean, it was just a real shock.
Yeah.
And I don't know how many people pin their hopes on the Fantastic Four. It's well said in the movie that the director certainly stood to gain quite a bit out of a released film like that. And some of us might have gained some more notoriety having been associated with it. The irony, of course, is that we've been associated with it for 25 years now, and possibly have more notoriety because of that. But that's part of a larger story.
Yeah.
Well, it has to be. I don't want. I'm going to use this term only because it's the only term I can think of using right now. It's got to be a serious ego boost to say I'm in this film that never got released, but it's immensely popular. And I'm not talking like the bad ego boost here, folks. I'm talking like that warm and fuzzy ego boost. You know, like they like it and I'm happy. Yeah.
Does it feel good, Joseph?
It feels great. You know, we're screening it upstairs right now.
Yes.
Above us.
Yeah, literally,
Right
you're
above
right,
us,
yeah.
above the speakeasy.
Don't tell Disney or Fox.
And you know, and basically, Keith Van Sickle of the Slash and Bash Film Festival says "Bafangul" to everybody, and just is screening it.
Yes.
Because what are they going to do? Come and arrest us? You know, that's the great thing about it. It's like it's a bit of a rebel film after all. You know, I started being called to conventions and Comic-Cons and whatnot as the thing gained popularity over the years, as the bootleg went viral, basically. I often say, and I think it's true, that possibly more people have seen this film now than would have seen it had it been released in 1994. Don't know.
Yeah.
But the one thing we aren't coming away with is the residual.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
Nobody's
that-
making any money off
Unfortunately,
this.
we won't see any money from it, but there is a warm, fuzzy,
Yeah.
tiny bittersweet feeling about the whole thing.
Yeah.
And yet I get a big chuckle out of it, and it's great to meet fans.
Yeah.
It's great to meet people who love the genre. It's great to meet people who appreciate what we did.
Yeah.
Which you don't always have that experience.
Your story with the Fantastic Four film reminds me of another indie film project that was, well, not another indie film project, but an indie film project. The Raiders guys. I don't know
Sure.
if you've
I'm
you've
very familiar with that
got
story.
to meet them last year. We have, a couple of years ago, have an interview here on the Notes and Nerds channel. Wonderful guys.
I want to
and
link to that because it's a fascinating story.
It is.
Do you
and-
know this?
The guys who
It
made
was
Shot
11,
11,
12,
remake
13,
when they were
remake of the Raiders,
children.
yes.
And kept making it for almost 20 years, I think.
The
Wow.
reason why I relate these two together so much is there's this immense cult following, almost to the point that you can't call it a cult following because it's
No.
mainstream following
So
at this
mainstream,
point,
huh? Yeah.
and they got so many copies. And I really would love to see a nod, if you will, because Steven Spielberg even gave these guys this warm nod, like you guys are awesome. And rumor has it, they didn't confirm or deny anything. They just didn't tell me that it's about Steven Spielberg being part of the donation to finish the Wing series.
You're right.
The Wing scene.
That was in the documentary.
wow.
That's it.
And that's what I want to hope. I want to see happen for this is that Disney realizes there is a market here. And some of the special effects scene, I was talking to a friend that redo the special effects scenes and then bring them down resolution wise to match the core film.
Maybe.
Oh, there's a lot of things you
That you
could
could
do.
do,
yeah.
You could
just
you
to
could
see
buy,
what would
but with a
happen.
minimum of work.
Minimum work, yes.
You could upgrade various things on this film.
I'm not talking about touching the main
No,
acting portion.
there's nothing to touch. The thing that we're watching it, people are, in the audience coming up and saying, it's really good.
Yeah.
It's really fun to watch this movie. It's not just like, oh,
Yeah.
it's old and hokey. It actually holds up.
Towards the end of the video, in your documentary, who was the gentleman that mentioned like a two-part, or not two-part, but a two-disc set?
Yeah, Ole, the director, I think.
Sure.
And so many of the people who were involved in the production, I mean, Joseph included, Ole, obviously, would like to kind of go back to it and revisit it,
Yeah.
whether it means relooping some of your lines,
Oh,
whether
very much
Ole
so,
would,
very much so.
be involved with, doing the special effects. And
Just don't George Lucas it.
yeah, oh no, he would never do that. And he was very straight in saying that he wants the original to exist as it is. He doesn't want to
yes.
replace it with like
Yes.
a new edition. He just wants to complement it with one.
So
Yeah, most definitely.
it's just such a fun film. And
I mean, people would definitely want to see it, and luckily you actually can see it if you go to YouTube, and now even Marty has found a way to allow people to see it on high quality Blu-rays. Doomed is out there too, so there's a lot of appreciation, that people are giving this film now.
Now let's show some real appreciation here. We're going to show you this comic book right here. I'm going to flash a little image here on the screen to give you a better look at the character. This is Doctor Doom from the comic books. Now, like I said, I'm zooming in here and all that good stuff. So you see how incredible the character looks. We're familiar with this character from the comic books. Now, I'm going to flash on here real quick from the first two films that came out in the late 90s, early 2000s, and now the Doctor Doom crash test dummy. And now we're cutting back to me.
Yeah.
So, and these gentlemen, it's just not about me. Terrible. My ego slipped out. I'm sorry. Here is the image, and I'm going to show you a better quality image here and zoom in. Tell me the difference. Show me the difference between the CG version versus the comic book version. Yes, obviously you could point at, well, the knee joint, the elbow, blah, blah, yeah. But here's the thing.
But this was real.
Yes, that was a practical,
That's all I wore. That I was inside of that.
I bet that was hot.
That is not something you can CG on anybody.
One of my favorite little clips behind the scenes that we have in the documentary is a moving image, a video behind the scenes of Joseph getting a fan, in his face from one of the crew members.
Put it in there. Yeah, there were no cooling units inside this suit. It was a sauna, basically, a walking sauna. And the suit actually cut into the back of my leg, and we tried different things to put padding in her. I finally said, just leave it.
It'll add to my performance.
It'll add to the performance. And it did in some ways. There's a lot of pain you hear and frustration in the performance. So that comes from the suit.
That is just fantastic, though, because we've seen the crash test dummy, we've seen the other two films where he was in which basically, if anybody's watched any how they made it kind of documentaries, they usually had little dots and they superimpose the character, and that's what's so wonderful about this. And what's great about this is your son cosplayed as you, basically, correct?
That's right. Yes, my son Jackson, grew up knowing that his father was the first Doctor Doom. And so when he first saw, I had a VHS copy of the, secret bootleg that had gone around. And so he was watching that probably since he was 3 and fascinated with this, this, as all children are fascinated with great shows of power.
Especially with their dad.
And especially in something with dad, and ha 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 ha, and he'd run around the house and have a Doctor Doom doll, and he would play out scenes, and he'd be imitating the laugh, like the cadence of the laugh from the movie. He would be imitating in the house. I go, that's unbelievable. And then, years later, we're at Comic-Con, and some beautiful metal artist does this incredible mask with the whole cowl and the buttons and everything, and Jackson buys it and starts wearing it around, and slowly we started building the suit until finally he did some straight up cosplaying at various cons, and his friends call him Son of Doom, which is an appellation he wears proudly.
So, and I give you permission to use. We have footage in the special features of Doomed of Jackson and Joseph together.
I might not use that, and I might just have to put a link below or above, depending, so we can buy it to see that stuff. I mean, we got to save something for the audience, right? A little imagination here. But yeah, so where can we find it? Because we know where we can find Fantastic Four.
Yes, you can. Just
everywhere.
Yeah.
I'm not giving you links because, well, Google's for that.
Yeah.
Where can we find yours?
Best place is just head over to Amazon. You can get it on Amazon. If you have an Amazon Prime account, you can watch it for free, streaming it. It's on iTunes, Vudu, Hulu. It's on your cable providers and sites. I mean, it's pretty much everywhere where you can get your entertainment.
We're going to put a link for that up and below, so this way you can watch it, download it, whatever you've got to do so.
And if you if you go to our Facebook page, put up the link to that, and if they order directly from me, we include a special bonus disc that has about just shy of an hour's worth of extra footage that we couldn't fit on the disc, so it's a 2-disc set.
I'm looking
only from us.
That.
Get a copy of Doomed. You won't be sorry.
And ask me politely for a copy of Fantastic Four, and that may be coming your way.
Might come your way. I'm really happy with the copies I've got of both films because mine are autographed.
Yay.
I love autographs.
That's why you got to come out to these film festivals
Yeah.
and conventions.
You see these folks out there doing these things. You see the copy. just get up there, be brave, embrace the whole thing. These films, everybody thinks that these kind of movies back then are just hokey and cheesy because the special effects are terrible, blah, blah, blah. But there's a lot of love that goes into these films, and especially films that never see the light of day. We hear stories about that on TV pilots all the time. But film is rare when they don't get released, and sometimes you're missing out on a glorious gem. Even if it has some rough spots, it's still a glorious gem that's ready to reflect some brilliance into your life. Give this movie a chance.
What people often have said to me, and I believe it, is that what they appreciate about the original Fantastic Four film is that it really very closely tried to honor the original comic.
Yes, it
so
did.
The characterizations, the storyline, the origin story, everything, the writer, Craig Nevius, did a fantastic job, as did Oli Sasson, the director, to make it truly in the spirit, which is a spirit of, great pathos and some comedy at the same time, and a really a really beautiful, kind of, power in the story.
Quite tragic for your character.
And a certain tragedy around Doctor Doom, and there's and what brings them all together. So, it's a unique comic. It's strange that it seems like the other films have not really managed to pull it off in a satisfying way to anybody.
Especially the last one.
Which the screenwriter just apologized for officially on Twitter the other day.
Really?
And what's great is, with everything you've said, the throw on an extra piece, the practical effects, the practical costumes. I mean, Thing is a practical suit that I believe upstairs somebody was talking to you. You were mentioning $600. Somebody in Florida purchased it.
Oh yeah, Marvin Jenkins. I'm sure he won't mind me using his name. The guy owns the suit. He somehow got a hand on it.
Marvin, you
God
got the
bless him.
suit.
And he knows we're thankful for it, and we credit him in
yeah.
the movie, and he offered us a picture. So
Does anybody own this suit?
I know who owns the cloak.
You know who owns
Yeah, if anybody wants it, let me know.
So you know who has the cloak. I have one mask. There's probably another. Everett Burrell probably has another. And I've actually been contacted by several great, really good artists who have done replicas of the mask from the film.
This? Oh, I didn't know that.
Recently a guy did a
Wow.
beautiful one. He sent me a shot of it. But the rest of it, who knows?
Yeah.
It could be in the vaults of what was formerly Optic Nerve. I don't know.
Or they've been repurposed, which is not unheard of, which is unfortunate.
Never. You could never repurpose Doom. Impossible.
But guys, gentlemen, it has been an absolute honor to have you guys here. All the links for Doomed, the Fantastic Four documentary, will be available on YouTube and Facebook, up above, down below, depending, like I said, where you watch this. Joseph Culp, you have been an absolute honor to have on this with me.
So much.
Marty, I thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
I feel so close to you since you've liked Notes and Nerds already before I even gave you a business
have,
card. I feel like we're on a special first name basis. However, I can't give you the first name only basis because there's so much. You're Dr. Doom. You might snap my neck. I'm not flexible and I'm not going to. So, guys, check them out. I will have some links for do you have a Facebook page for yourself?
Absolutely. Joseph Culp, be a friend. Be a friend today. Find out what I'm saying.
And for your production company?
Just go to the Doomed Untold story of Fantastic Four on Facebook.
I'll have that link on there.
Send you a note. Thank you.
Well, guys, thank you very much. Notes and Nerds. Follow us, like us, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, all that good stuff. Just /Notes and Nerds. It's all there. So thank you very much, and watch more good stuff.
Here's to the future, my friend.
Hail Dr. Doom.